to circulate around city campus in a clockwise motion. Stops at 23rd and S, 23rd and U, then down to 17th and R Street, Garage, Union. They'll make their city connection to maintain the public route at 13th and Q, and then travel to the west side of campus, serving the Stadium Drive and Stadium area, up to the north side of using Salt Creek, serving the 14th and Avery Garage, and then down Vine Street, where they would proceed out back to campus. The UNL buses would run a counterclockwise motion, running down Vine Street, Whittier, the 900 building, right? Most of you probably won't go there. Offmer, Henslick, and then wrap around to the west side of campus via 14 Salt Creek. UNL would have to go downtown, go back via P Street to 12 to get to R, and then serve the R Street sector and pick up or drop off at 17th and R. Come out to 23rd Street, and then UNL would then go back to East Campus. To fit the budget, this is a fall and spring service. This is one of the drawbacks. It's a great improvement, but it couldn't get it to fit $1.3 billion budget as a rough. So we presented this, or I presented this to the Parking Advisory Committee. They had, this was the biggest concern, was not having a summer service. So they're requesting that we come back and reevaluate and see if there's any opportunities next semester to see if we can maintain that summer service. There is a large population in the 23rd Street area that either park or live in the neighborhood and come in. It would be a shame to leave them out in the summer, but right now we're just proposing what the consultant recommended, so we fit the budget, and then we'll come back and have a discussion next fall on whether or not we continue summer service. That's roughly it. Anyone have questions, comments? Dan, you're crazy.
Senator Kidwell?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. So will students not be able to get on or off the bus anywhere between City and East Campus? I noticed there's no stops along.
StarTran will operate. We normally, it's hard for us to pick folks up. StarTran's going to continue their bus stops along those routes.
Okay.
It's going to be confusing for the public because we cannot carry public because of risk management. We're not covered under our insurance. Everyone who has an affiliation is. So StarTran will continue. We might drop off. That's a detail I have not worked out.
Okay.
But picking up, that's going to be what we do.
Okay, so starting will continue to pick up people that are waiting and drop them off. And you might drop people off, but there would never be a possibility of picking you up.
Yeah, I would just hate to have someone try and get on, say, no, you're not covered.
Yeah. I also had another question about, like, I think it's the 23rd and Vine.
Yes.
There's two stops pretty close together, and I was wondering if there's a particular reason for that. But like closer to S Street, there isn't one. So I was just wondering if what buildings are there, why there are two so close together.
Is it these two?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One's on Vine Street, and that's to serve Whittier. The other one's actually on 23rd U, and that's Husker Hall and
Okay.
Street Apartments. So they're about a block away, really.
Okay.
Senator Warren?
So the question I got from someone was, so this will obviously increase the pickup time
Yes.
for people, but they were more concerned, like, what will this do for transit time between City and East Campus? Like
Transit time?
Yes, like the travel time.
The entire loop was just under 40 minutes. So that's where we get the headways. You throw 4 buses on each, our Vine Street, our street, you get 10-minute headways. The travel time's still gonna be probably about 15 minutes between Perfetti and say, boy, I wish I timed it and I wish I had it. Hensley, I think it was like 9 to 12 minutes from Perfetti to Hensley. The R Street is gonna be a little bit longer because of traveling down 23rd and then Q and so.
Yeah, I know they're concerned with like, I mean, obviously most of the people that are at Hensley, like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna pick up at Hensley, usually you're going to Fairfield. Like that's shouldn't happen. So their concern is just like, it's really efficient to be riding around. When I mentioned the clockwise and counterclockwise, it's kind of efficient to be riding all the way around counterclockwise.
Right, there's gonna be a little learning curve on which bus to go, which bus to get on at Perfetti, depending on where you're going. So if you're going to, say, Andrews, you're gonna wanna get on UNL. If you're going to CVA, you're gonna wanna get on Star Train, that type of thing. But as far as time, we're relying on just the traffic lights and traffic. So we timed these, I timed the route at 4 p.m.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, so it was heavy traffic. We just didn't stop and let people get on.
Thanks.
You bet.
Senator Slack?
So I had several questions from graduate students, and I'm guessing that the answer is going to be no for budgetary reasons, but in addition to the summer route, graduate students often work on Saturdays and Sundays when we're done with our teaching and going for research. So is there,
We will have a summer service. We're gonna pilot our Sunday service. The Star Trend's still running their Saturday service. You'll have to rely on that. But we're gonna run an on-call van. I believe we're running 9 to 7, something along that. So it'll be that same number that will run the perimeter route. It'll be an on-call. And it'll run between cities and
okay. And then the other question that I think was not bunched into that thing is that there's a federal stimulus fund for bike racks on buses, which I believe would be helpful. Is that going to affect UNL at all, or is that only for Star Trend? And if so, is that
Star Trend is putting them on. Now, one thing I didn't explain is this is the temporary implementation. One of the items that I had him or had Chance Management review was our fleet capabilities and capacity. We don't have a fleet. We've been buying the cheap buses. We don't have a fleet that can sustain this. So slowly, we're going to get out of the operating business and transition to completely Star Trend. It was a kind of a rock and a hard place. Do we have to increase fees, whether they're parking, student fees, to buy sturdier buses to operate this route, or do we transition out? It was almost a wash to have Star Trend just operate. They have a fleet that can do this. They have the drivers that can do this. We wouldn't have to worry about maintenance and all the other operating items. We still operate special events, but we were in a position, what do we do? We've been buying $100,000 buses and $200,000 buses. We need to buy $360,000 buses. And we just don't have the capital to go out and buy 5 buses because we're running 7-year buses for 13 years, and it's killing us on the life cycle costs on operating. Eventually, Star Trend will take this over, and they are putting contracts. But you and I, we don't have our buses. They don't fall off, and then we end up running over the lights.
So along with that, this is a little more parking question. I think a lot of graduate students are East Campus located, but have to teach on city campus. And